What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on Rangers Central, and today I'm going to break down some of the signings and trades that the Rangers have made, at least thus far, through free agency. Things could obviously change still, and there could still be more trades to be had, free agents to be added, but I figured I'd go into depth in terms of who the Rangers have acquired thus far and get my thoughts and opinions. Before we jump into everything, please be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're a Ranger fan. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And before we jump into everything, I do want to say, if anyone is waiting for me to make a video on Jacob Trouba and the whole debacle there of what's going on, because I did make a video a couple days ago that he's probably going to be departing, I'm probably not going to make a video about that, if I'm being honest with you, because it is just a wildfire right now between the Rangers fan base, and it is a civil war between the Rangers fan base with the Trouba situation. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really have no desire to dive into that topic and share further my thoughts. You guys know most of my thoughts, and I'm going to keep some of them to myself because, again, it's really a topic that I just don't want to get into, and I don't want to say the wrong thing by accident in terms of how I view things and how things I think are perceived personally. So if anyone, like I said, is waiting for something like that, I'm just not going to do it. At this point, I'm strictly going to just be talking Rangers news. I will be talking about games when they happen, and I'm just going to give my thoughts and opinions on the given topic at the given moment instead of, I just have no desire to dive into the drama right now. It's why I'm backing off on Twitter even a bit with this stuff, because I just have no desire, and it's borderline insanity from myself included. Like, I can admit that it's borderline insanity the way that things are going with the situation. But now, with all that cleared up, let's go ahead and dive into the Rangers acquisitions. We're going to start with the bigger acquisition that they made, quote unquote, if you will, and that is acquiring Reilly Smith for a 2027 second round pick and a 2025 fifth round pick. I think it's a conditional pick. I don't know if we got the conditions on that pick thus far, but all I know is that Reilly Smith, I do like the addition. However, I still feel the way that I reacted yesterday is the truth in terms of, I don't love this as the fit for playing next to Mika and Kreider, but I do like him as a good middle six option. If they did decide to split up Mika and Kreider, I have no issue if they decide to play him with Kreider. I have no issue if they decided to play him with Mika, but I don't like the fit personally in terms of him playing next to those two. I like the fit team-wise. Like, I think he would be, like, don't get me wrong, I think Reilly Smith is a very good player, and you get him at 25% retention, which brings it down to about $3.2 million. So, again, really good stuff there in terms of what you get for a third liner who puts up very solid points. He put up 40 points this past season in 76 games, 13 goals, 27 assists, and I know Pittsburgh fans wanted to run him out of town for that, but again, it is what it is. He only shot 8.6%, so if you want to look at a bright side, there is maybe potential for him to jump up scoring-wise this next season if he just shoots the puck more, but the problem is that's really not Reilly Smith's game. He's definitely more of a... He likes to get on the forecheck, but he's also not he's not, as fast as the wind, I should say. Like, he doesn't skate entirely well to play next to those two, which is my issue, and I don't view him as a guy that could drive play versus if they got someone that could drive play. Like, that's ideally what I would want right now, because the offseason's not done. There's still time for them to find another guy to play next to Mika and Kreider, because if you're talking about your third line being Will Cooley, Filipino, Reilly Smith, that is probably one of the best third lines in the league, honestly. And he did put up 30 points at 5v5, and I think the thing that everybody loves about a guy like Reilly Smith is when you look at his playoff production, winning the Stanley Cup with the Vegas Golden Knights. He had 14 points in those 22 games played. The year prior, he had 10 points in 19 games played. The year before that, 14 points in 20 games played, and then he had 6 points in 7, and then the year they went to the Cup in Vegas, his first year, 22 points in 20 games played. Does he have that in him? Probably not. But what was one of the bigger issues for the Rangers, that was depth scoring throughout the postseason. So maybe the Rangers end up targeting somebody else at the deadline, and then Reilly Smith moves down the lineup. But for now, you crawl into the deadline with that, which, again, I'm not the biggest fan of, because I'd rather them just find a solution for the right wing spot. But if we're going to be, honest of what they're going to do, they'll probably just trot him out there next to Mika and Kreider. And is it a better option than what they've had? Yes, it is easily better than what they've had in Blake Wheeler. guys like Rosovic, and whatever other options they've trotted out there. So if you're looking at it from purely, is it an upgrade standpoint? Yes, 100% layup answer right there. But is it the guy that I think is the solution to play next to those two? I still would say no. But again, there is time for them to address it this offseason. And I am comfortable, at least with Reilly Smith going into the season, playing that role. And then you could go into the deadline and upgrade at that spot there. And like I said before, move Reilly Smith down the lineup, or best case scenario, which everyone's going to roll their eyes and laugh. But I don't see it happening personally. I'll be honest. But if Capo Caco is poised to have a better season and could fill that role in the top six, then you're looking at it as, all right, the right wing depth is really good because you have Reilly Smith, Lafreniere, and then if Caco does have a bigger year, then that's your right wing depth, and you don't have to give up anything at the deadline except maybe upgrade your fourth line a bit there. But regardless, in terms of Reilly Smith, the acquisition, I really, again, full final thoughts. I like the idea of adding him. Do I like the role that they're going to put him in? Time will tell, I guess, because for all I know, he is the perfect fit next to those two. But on paper, at least, as of today, July 2nd, I still feel they could find, another player to fit that line while liking the Reilly Smith acquisition. Block shots, if you want to look at that, by the way, blocked 28 shots, 55 hits, and then he had 36 takeaways, 38 giveaways, so it gives the puck away. If you want to look at how he is defensively, a guy that is very responsible in his own end, which I think is going to go over well with a lot of Ranger fans, because I had somebody tweet, I got into a little bit of a conversation on Twitter, if you will, not really a debate or anything, because there was no arguing, but this person suggested that maybe the Rangers view this Reilly Smith, Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad line as a line that's going to be, a shutdown type line, but will chip in a few goals. And I don't love the idea of that being what your second line is stylistically, but again, maybe it goes over well. If they're outscoring the opponent at the end of the day, then maybe maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay at that point, but again, he's very responsible in his own end. He was in the 96th percentile defensively this year, according to Evolving Hockey. 92nd, sorry. 36th percentile offensively. Yeesh. A lot of it is the power play dragging him down, though, because Pittsburgh did not have a good power play, but he is a guy that could kill penalties, too, which is very huge, because I'd love for them to find a way to get Chris Kreider off of the PK and, really release some stress off of a guy like him. Plus, with Barclay Goodrow's departure, they need a guy that could kill some penalties there. So that's my full take with a guy like Reilly Smith. And again, we'll see what happens. Moving on to the most head-scratching move of them all still to me. And that is Sam Carrick. And I had people saying, you shouldn't be mad. It's a bottom six, fourth line guy for $1 million. The thing that confuses me still is, one, why did he get 3 years? Two, why was he the second guy off of the board in the entire free agent class this year? Because don't get me wrong, if Sam Carrick was like a last resort option, the Rangers couldn't really find anyone they liked, and it's like, all right, Sam Carrick, I'd be like, all right, fine. My issue still is that there was better options out there that signed for cheaper or relatively the same price. I'm looking at guys like Craig Smith in particular, who signed for a 1-by-1 with the Chicago Blackhawks. I think he would have been a better fit, a guy that puts up more points, still plays good at center, throws the hit, plays a very similar game, but is better than Sam Carrick. And again, I get the idea that if Sam Carrick isn't good, you bury him in Hartford. But I still have the argument that it's like, why not just add good hockey players so we don't have to worry about that? But if you want to look at production this past year, in 77 games played, 16 points, 10 goals, 6 assists, splitting time between Anaheim and Edmonton. Takes a lot of penalties, which is really concerning to me. And then you look at faceoff stuff. He was 53.4% in the faceoff dot, playing the majority of the time at center. Could play the wing as well, so there is some versatility there. Through 167 hits, he loves to throw the body. That's the big thing with him. And then he takes the puck away more than he gives it away. If you want a positive sign there, all of his production is at 5v5, as he does not really get time anywhere else other than shorthanded. He does get some shorthanded minutes. He had 1 apple in 10 playoff games with the Edmonton Oilers this year, and that's all there is to him when it comes to the postseason. So a guy that is pretty much filling the Barclay Goodrow role. but is probably a lesser not probably, he is a lesser version than Barkley Goodrow, to be completely frank with you. And could rookies beat him out in training camp? Who knows? We'll see. And that's what I'm hoping for, unless it means Sam Carrick is a complete, utterly surprise with how good he is. But do I see it? I don't know. Again, it's just head scratching me considering what was out there that signed for a similar price. And I just feel they could have done a little bit better than a guy like Carrick. But again, we'll see what happens with him. He's probably going to be the fourth line center, if not the 13th forward. And is it even an upgrade over Brodzinski's my other question? That's the only thing where it's like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know how to feel. The metrics tell you he's not the best penalty killer, and Edmonton would agree because they didn't really utilize him in a penalty kill role when they traded for him. So that does also scare me, is that at least Barkley Goodrow was good on the PK. And again, I still support the Rangers' idea of getting rid of that cap hit and getting rid of him. But again, it is a downgrade nonetheless. And it is what it is. We'll see. Again, time will tell. But in terms of the last two signings, a little bit lesser of signings as they add some help for Hartford, as they add Benoit Olivier Grohl to the Hartford Wolfpack, if you will, or he could maybe make the Rangers team. And I actually like this addition a lot. I like the idea of bringing in a guy who's 24 years old and a guy that, you know what, let's take a flyer on and see what he could be. A second-round pick with Anaheim in the 2018 draft. And why not take a flyer? Because he's probably going to play in Hartford. And again, best case, he surprises you. A little bit of an energy type forward for the Rangers to add. Has some size to him, 6'2", a $198 in terms of his weight. Had 2 points in 45 games with the Anaheim Ducks, a -9, which a -9 isn't even that bad considering he played with the Ducks. Throws a lot of hits. Takes the puck away as much as he gives it away in terms of that this season. And he's a guy that could play, I think he could play all three forward positions. I'm not entirely sure, but he's not the best in terms of winning faceoffs at the center position, as he was 44% there. But again, you want to look at some of the analytics. It doesn't tell you it's the best, but it's a flyer signing. It's a, you know what, the guy's 24 years old. Let's see what he could do. If he has anything in him, this is probably one of his last destinations in his career. But will it be that? Again, will he be here beyond the season? I'm not entirely sure. Although no, it was a 1-year deal. It was the other signing that was a 2-year deal, I believe. Yeah. So again, that's what it is with Grohl. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about him. And then the last signing they made, your Mac Holloway replacement in Casey Fitzgerald. If he's the answer for the 7th defenseman, do not love that idea, because I do think even a guy like Connor Mackey is more suitable for the 7th defenseman role, and I still would rather them explore bringing back a guy like Chad Ruedel at that juncture. But he's a guy that did not play last year at all in the NHL because of the fact that he spent his entire time in the AHL. But the year prior to that, spent time with Buffalo and Florida, as Florida acquired him for just to get a body there for a 7th defenseman. But in that year, he had 3 points in 27 games there between Buffalo and Florida, and really not much about him. Surprisingly, throws a good amount of hits for a guy that's 5'11", a $188 though, so a little bit weighs almost the same as Grohl, despite being 5'11", where Grohl is 6'2", and I'm not really too familiar a lot with him, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know everything about Casey Fitzgerald other than he's just a body, and I view him as a guy that's similar to Matt Caldwell, actually the same height and everything as him. So I view it as, you know what, just get a body in there, get help for the Hartford Wolfpack, and if you need him to play NHL games, at least he has experience there. Again, it's not the most viable option, which is why I say if he's the 7th defenseman, don't love it unless he really wins the spot in camp, but and preseason, of course. But on the surface, it's not the worst idea of a signing. But maybe this is the Rangers saying, you know what, Matthew Robertson, if you want to win the 7th defenseman spot, this is your time to do it. And if not, it's going to be guys like Mackey, Harper, and Fitzgerald that get the chance over you. So in terms of what the Rangers did, again, I just expected more, and there is time for more. They could make a trade. There's some guys still left on the free agent market as of today. So, and as of the time I'm recording this at least, but we'll see. I'm not entirely jumping for joy, but I'm not entirely, I'm not entirely pissed off because I do like the Reilly Smith edition. It's like, how am I supposed to be mad at 2 Hartford guys? It's just the only move that I'm really not thrilled about still is Sam Carrick. Like, I'll be completely frank with you. But that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I will see you guys in the next one.